Hello, Miami University and all Oxford community. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Hannah, your co-host for tonight's show. Welcome back to Miami Television News. Miami recently released an updated statement about the death of sophomore Allison Allie Webb, who died on November 5th. The anthropology major was a resident of Hamilton Hall, a member of Alpha Omicron Pi sorority, and had made the president's list every single semester. In the statement, Miami said, "We are heartbroken to lose Allie and send our condolences to her family and friends. At this time, our priority is to provide support to her family and our community. Counseling will continue to be available for the Hamilton Hall community, as well as any Miami student who requests it. Those wishing to send messages in Allie's honor or condolences to her family may do so through the obituary posted by the family at the Howler Funeral Home website. In lieu of flowers, the family suggests donations in Allie's honor to the Wildflower Legacy Foundation, a nonprofit organization in remembrance of her niece, Hattie. For additional support, students can contact Student Counseling Services at 513-529-4634.
The 2022 midterm election was last week, and most states now have results, though a few key races saw significant delays. MTN member Charlotte Waldron has more on the election results in a special politics segment. Over to you, Charlotte.
Thanks, Kyle. My name is Charlotte Waldron, and today I will be giving you the latest updates on the 2022 midterm elections at home and nationwide. In Ohio, Republican and Miami University alumnus Mike DeWine was re-elected as governor, beating his opponent by over 25 points. Republican Senate candidate J.D. Vance won by 6.5 points, which keeps Ohio's Senate representation at 1 Republican and 1 Democrat. Here in Butler County, Sam Lawrence, a Miami University student and candidate for Ohio House of Representatives, lost to Republican Sarah Carruthers by 30 points. Nationally, the red wave predicted by polls and exit surveys didn't appear to the extent some analysts initially thought. After a week of counting votes in Arizona, Democrats gained a seat in the Senate and are predicted to keep control. Georgia resulted in a runoff election scheduled for December 6th this year. Republicans gained 8 seats in the House of Representatives so far and are predicted to take the House after all votes are counted. That's all for today on MTN Politics. Kyle and Hannah, back to you.
Thanks, Charlotte. The student-run organization Stage Left put on the musical Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief, November 10th through 12th in Wilkes Theater. Starring Kit Gladio as Percy Jackson, the musical was a creative interpretation of Percy Jackson with some twists that kept the audience laughing. The show was so successful that it sold out on the last day.
On Monday, November 14th, chef, author, and model Carla Hall came to Miami as a part of the University Lecture Series. Her talk was titled Food, Fashion, and Finding Purpose Through Passion. MTN reporters Zoltan Feldman and Ethan Kolb were able to talk to Carla before she gave her lecture.
Hi everybody, my name's Zoltan Feldman and I'm here with Ethan Kolb. Today we are joined by our special guest, Carla Hall. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. For those who are watching and may not know who Carla is, Carla Hall made her debut into the mainstream by appearing on season 5 and 8 of Top Chef on Bravo. After her time competing, she then was a co-host on ABC's The Chew and made numerous appearances on other cooking shows on the Food Network, as well as publishing a couple cookbooks and a children's book just last year, right?
Yes.
All right. So to get us started, as I said, you competed on both season 5 and 8 of Top Chef. And while you were competing, you constantly reminded the audience that your philosophy when it comes to cooking is to always cook with love. Mm-hmm. Could you tell me how you applied that philosophy to like all the challenges that you had to go through while competing?
You know, that was hard. Mm-hmm. No, I think that for me, and it's really hard to do in a competition, but at the height of when I was competing and thinking about my spirituality and what I could control, and to remind myself why I enjoyed cooking in the first place. And I knew that if you didn't put the love in it, the only thing you should be making was a reservation. And so even though I think when I was on Top Chef and I felt like I was afraid of being sent home and afraid of, you know, the judges and Padma and Tom, like, no, this is terrible. I went through that, but I think when I thought I was going to go home and I didn't go home, and the biggest fear was that I didn't actually die on Top Chef. I know it sounds really crazy, but I was standing up there at the judges' table like, wait, nobody's died here? That's my biggest fear. And then I was free to really cook from my heart.
You can find the whole Carla Hall interview in the description below. The next lecture series will be in February 2023, and you best believe MTN will be back with another special interview.
And now, the MTN sports team is here to catch you up on all your Red Hawks sports news. Over to you guys.
Thank you, Hannah. Hello, Miami sports fans. I'm Jason Morris, and here is the news in sports. The Red Hawks came up short against the Georgia Bulldogs with the final score of 77-70. Their record is now 1-2 through the first 3 games. Mekhi Larry scored a career high of 34 points, along with Billy Smith contributed with 12 points, and Anderson Marabou scoring 10 points. The Red Hawks come back home on Friday to take on the Thornton Herd of Marshall before traveling to Indianapolis to play the Indiana Hoosiers. In other sports news, the football team travels to DeKalb, Illinois to take on the Huskies of Northern Illinois. The Red Hawks are 4-6 on the year with 2 games left to play. They aim to keep their bowl season hopes alive by winning this one and then back home to play Ball State in potentially the biggest game of the year. Opening kickoff is slated at 7 p.m. and will be broadcast on CBS-SN. And now here's Charlotte with women's basketball and hockey updates.
Thank you, Jason. Miami's women's basketball team led start to finish in a 79-73 win against Vermont Friday morning. Ivy Wolf went 5-6 from the floor in the first period, including a perfect 4-4 behind the arc, taking the Red Hawks to a massive 20-point lead after just 10 minutes into the second quarter. Maddie Clues scored 5 points, and Vermont responded with a 17-point run. Miami ended the second quarter up 11 points, 43-32 at intermission. Miami stretched the lead in the third quarter, but Vermont closed the gap, ending the quarter trailing just 5 points, 60-55. Sierra Morrow rounded out the game with an assist and 2 baskets, including a jumper with a 6.9 seconds left on the clock, taking home the win for the Red Hawks. Miami's hockey team played a 2-game series against Colorado this weekend at the Coach Caddy Arena. The Red Hawks scored first with a goal by Red Savage in the second period, his 4th of the season, but Colorado tied it up again. Ludwig Pearson made 35 saves, leading him to be named the first star of the game, followed by Savage as the second star. Saturday's game resulted in a 2-1 loss for the Red Hawks. Colorado College scored in a power play during the first period and extended their lead late in the second period with a second goal, leading 2-0. Red Hawk player Hampus Rydquist finished strong with a goal from Miami seconds into the third period, but sadly it just wasn't enough for the Red Hawks to bring home the win this time. Now Caroline is here to give you updates on field hockey and volleyball. Over to you.
Thank you, Charlotte. Now let's talk about the final field hockey game of the season for the Miami Redhawks. The girls competed against Northwestern University last Friday in the NCAA tournament, and both teams put up one tough fight, holding the score at 0-0 for the first 2 quarters. But then, in the third, Northwestern scored on a penalty, taking the lead 1-0. They held on to this lead until just 5 minutes into the final quarter, when sophomore Reese Morin made the score 1-1 with the assist of Claudia Negret Garcia. The game remained tied through the final quarter, sending the teams into overtime. Both teams holding strong during this time, so much so that it took 2 overtime periods to finalize the game. During the final shootout, Northwestern was successful on their final attempt, and Miami was unable to convert, dropping the score 2-1, leaving Northwestern the victor. Congrats to the players for making it to the tournament and putting up a strong fight. Moving into volleyball for the Red Hawks, we had a game Saturday against Akron University. The game went 22-25 in the first set, 23-25 in the second, and a final score of 10-25 in the final set, leaving Akron as the winner. We had put up a fight with Lydia Harper, a sophomore, with 14 assists, and Allison Severance with 8 kills during the game. Now, over to Edward for an in-studio interview with the field hockey team.
Thanks, Caroline. I'm Edward Orzak, and I'm here with back Macy McHale and goalkeeper Belle Parisi. Congratulations on the season, y'all.
Thank you.
So how did it feel clinching the MAC Field Hockey Championship for the 5th consecutive year?
I mean, it felt awesome. I mean, she's a 5th year, so she's been here for all 5, and then this is my senior year, so I've been here for 4 of them. So it's just a really cool experience, just to, I don't know, keep up the wins and leave the jersey hopefully in a better place.
And every year has its own feel to it, and this year had definitely a different feeling. We definitely haven't played App State in the championship game before, so they were a great team, and it was fun playing against them, and it was great that we won, obviously.
Okay, so in the Northwestern game, at the end of overtime, there was 4 consecutive corners with time expired. I was watching from home, and I was on the edge of my seat. What was it like trying to defend to force that shootout?
I mean, you would think it would be a pressure situation, but I don't think, just speaking from my experience, I didn't feel a ton of pressure. I mean, we had played them in the regular season just a couple games earlier, had faced a ton of corners, I think 17 or 18, and had defended them really strong. So they just kept getting corners, and it was just like, same thing, different day type of thing.
Yeah, like going off of that, I know we've been pretty confident in our defensive corners this year. Our assistant coach for the year, who was just with us this year, has really specialized in defensive corners, and he's worked with us a lot on them, and I knew we were confident going in, and I think it showed.
Okay, so of course, obviously you weren't able to hang on in the shootout, but what was it like taking on number 2 Northwestern and coming that close to victory?
I mean, it's a bittersweet feeling. I think we felt from the beginning of the game that we could compete and potentially win, and to be that close and to fall just short is definitely a sad feeling, but I think it's also a huge step forward for our program to be able to compete at that level with the defending national champs and come just that close. We should have like all the confidence in the world going forward.
Yeah, I mean, we've played Northwestern almost every year I've been here, and the scores have definitely not been that close. In the previous years, I think we lost by 3 or 4 goals my sophomore year and last year. So narrowing it to 2 goals in the regular season and then finally competing and making it an even game just showed that we are like heading in the right direction as a program.
Okay, so both of you are seniors, so what are your plans after the season?
My plan, I'm an inclusive special education major, so hopefully I will be getting a job in the elementary setting and just to be a teacher.
And I am going to be working in tech sales. My mom and my stepdad both work in tech sales, so I've kind of grown up around it my whole life, and I've seen how much they liked that as their career, so I'm looking forward to it.
So are you still going to be playing some field hockey in some way, shape, or form?
I hope so. I feel like probably both of us can't walk away from the game forever. We're both super competitive people, so I mean, I would hope to be doing it in some setting.
Yeah, I'm hoping to coach. I coached at the high school, at Talawanda High School this year, and it was a great experience. So I'm hoping to still coach even when I have a job in something other than sports.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for coming in. Back to Hannah and Kyle.
Thanks, Edward.
Now let's hear from our resident pop culture guru, Mason.
Hello, my name is Mason Maloney, and I'm going to be giving you the latest updates on the TicketMaster site crashing due to high volume of fans needing their Taylor Swift tickets. Millions of fans are left frustrated after paying for pre-sale tickets and not receiving them. The high demand of pre-sale tickets has led to the TicketMaster website crashing. While fans flood the internet with angry comments, TicketMaster tweets that fans may be experiencing internet issues and that they are urgently working to fix them. On Tuesday afternoon, Ticketmaster declared that this has never happened in history. The presale tickets have led to historically unprecedented demand for tickets, with millions showing up to presale. The company said it has sold hundreds of thousands of tickets despite their internet issues, but that still does not come close to filling up some of Taylor's massive venues. Ticketmaster asked that Taylor fans please hang tight. One fan said, "I'm still seeing a lot of frustrated fans waiting in queues on Twitter, though." And shortly after 1:40 p.m., Ticketmaster.com began totally crashing for me. I'm not even trying to get a ticket, which might make things difficult for those who are still waiting in line. Ticketmaster declined to comment on the record. Fans say Ticketmaster could have done a lot more to prepare for this demand of Taylor Swift tickets, especially after the pandemic. The fans were prepared by buying their pre-sale tickets, but it seems they're the ones stuck dealing with the technical difficulties of Ticketmaster. Thank you. Back to you, Kyle.
At the start of the month, Miami University announced a large donation made to the College of Engineering and Computing. Miami alumni Dinesh Palawal and his wife, Elo Palawal, graciously gave $2 million to the program. The funds have been reported to go towards the promotion of CEC Dean Bina Sukamaran, as well as producing more student scholarships.
Last Thursday, stand-up comedian Pete Garrico performed here at Miami University. This event was put on by MAP and generated a lively crowd of students. Pete is also an actor, writer, and host of Arena Trivia. You can find him on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Pete Garrico. That's all we have for today. Thank you for tuning in, and be on the lookout for more Miami news in the weeks to come. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Kyle. And don't forget to follow us on social media at MiamiMTN.